Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Taps Off. So I think 14 games on the docket last night for January 11th. We're going to start off with the Blackhawks and the Jets. This one, not my favorite because, Winnipeg. First period, there was no scoring. Second period, at 4:19, Connor Murphy scores from Lucas Rifle and Cole Gutman. Third period, at 16:31, Gabe Velarde ties it up from Lowry and Morrissey. That trade is paying massive dividends for the Winnipeg Jets. At 18:55, Nikolai Ehlers scores from Adam Lowry and Brendan Dillon to win it for the Jets, 2-1. They move back into first overall in the NHL. Second up, we're going to work with the Rangers and the St. Louis Blues. So in the first period, Adam Fox opens up the scoring from Barclay Goodrow and Ryan Lindgren at 1:51. At 4:02 the first, Jordan Kyrou ties it up from Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich. Kyrou would score again at 7:30 of the first from Buchnevich and Thomas on the power play. Second period, Brandon Saad would score from Braden Shen and Torrey Krug on the power play at 9:26. Third period, Kyrou scores his third for the hat trick at 7:01 from Nick Leddy. At 10:58, Trocheck would answer from Chris Kreider and Artemi Panarin on the power play. And then at 19:42, Buchnevich would score from Sundqvist and Parenko into the empty net. St. Louis takes that one 5-2. Moving on to Tampa Bay and New Jersey. New Jersey on a bit of a skid here. First period, at 7:42, Dawson Mercer scores from Eric Holla and Colin Miller. At 12:35, Luke Glendening scores from Nick Perbix and Austin Watson to tie it up. Glendening would score again, unassisted shorthanded at 18:22. Second period, Braden Point would score from Kucherov and Perbix at 10:34. At 16:54, Jesper Bratt would score from John Marino and Tyler Toffoli, former Canuck. Third period, Nathan Bastian would score to tie it up at 3:53 unassisted. And then in overtime, Darren Radish scores from Kucherov and Vasilevsky at 1:52. Tampa Bay takes that one 4-3 in overtime. Moving on to LA and Florida. Florida's on a nice little run here. They're at like 7 or 8 games, something like that. First period, LA scores at 6:17 is Trevor Moore from Dano and Fiala. Second period, Bennett scores at 10:58 from Listerinen and Ekman Larsson, former Canuck. In 1939, Drew Doughty would score from Adrian Kempe and Isaac Kopitar on the power play. Third period, Kachuk would score at 17:42 from Verhaeghe and Reinhardt. And then in overtime, at 4:59, Reinhardt scores from Barkov and Bobrovsky on the power play. Florida takes that one 3-2. All right, Seattle and Washington. Seattle also on a nice little run here. So in the first period, Seattle scores. It's Ty Karcher scoring from Jared McCann, former Canuck, and Adam Larson at 8:50. At 18:12, Alex Winterberg scores from Brandon Tanev. Second period, Pacioretty scores for the Capitals. I believe it's his first of the year and the first as a member of the Washington Capitals at 5:47 from Ovechkin and Trevor Van Riemsdyk. At 18:20, Justin Schultz scores from Tolvanen and Bjorkstrand. And then in the third period, Adam Larson scores from Tanev and Schwartz at 12:02. Seattle takes that one 4-1. They improved to 18-14-9 on the season. Moving on to the Senators and the Buffalo Sabres. In the first period, Buffalo opens up the scoring. It's J.J. Peterka scoring from Cousins and Power at 9:14. Vladimir Tarasenko would score at 15:06 for the Senators unassisted. Thompson would add another one for the Sabres to give them back the lead at 12:28 from Rasmus Dahlin. And then he would score a second time from Dahlin and Jack Quinn on the power play at 19:32 to put the Sabres up 3-1. Second period, Peyton Krebs would score at 4:52 from Eric Robinson. In the third period, Drew scores 43 seconds in from Ridley Gregg. Drew again unassisted at 11:15. And at 19:57, Dylan Cousins caps off the scoring unassisted into the empty net, and the Sabres take that one 5-3. Toronto and New York Islanders, the other New York team that's on Long Island. First period, Kyle Palmieri scores 40 seconds in from Dobson and Barzell on the power play. At 12:39, Bobby McMann scores from Noah Gregor and TJ Brody. Second period, 26 seconds in, Matthews ties it up from Marner and Nyes. Matthews will score again at 2:40 from Holmberg. 4:18, Romanov would score from Barzal and Dobson. 13:51, Bo Horvat, former Canuck and former captain, would score from Dobson and Barzal on the power play. Third period, no scoring. And then in overtime, 21 seconds in, Barzal scores from Dobson. The Islanders win that one in overtime 4-3. San Jose and Montreal. So in the first period, Luke Kunin scores unassisted for the Sharks at 5:19. Zetterlund had another one at 17:25 from Hurdle and Zadina. Thought Zetterlund had more than 12 because it seems like every time I review a Sharks game, he's on the board. But yeah, 12th goal of the year. So it's 2-0 Sharks. 17:56 the first. Gallagher scores from Matheson and Savard to put them on the board. Second period, at 16:44, Okotchik scores from Granlund and Eklund for the Sharks to put them up 3-1. And then the third period is 16:26. Josh Anderson scores from Matheson and Caulfield. However, that wouldn't be enough. The Sharks take that one 3-2. All right, Anaheim and Carolina. So went about as we expected. First period, 16 minutes in, Brady Shea scores from Seth Jarvis and Jordan Stahl. 16:15, Andrei Svechnikov scores from Aho and Teravainen. Second period, Lindstrom scores at 25 seconds in from Brett Leeson and Brock McGinn. Jordan Martinez would score from Seth Jarvis at 1:57 to put another one on the board for the Canes. Ryan Strome would score from Troy Terry at 10:06. At 10:53, Frank Vatrano scores one from Adam Henrique on the power play. 14:30, Stefan Nosen would score from Bunting and Kotkaniemi. And then Jack Drury would score from Nosen and Teravainen on the power play at 16:41. That ends the second period. Third period, Seth Jarvis scores from Burns and Martinic at 9:54. The Canes take that one 6-3. Alright, Edmonton and Detroit, another one I'm not pleased about. First period, no scoring. Second period, no scoring. Third period, 3:34, Andrew Copp scores unassisted. At 9:12, McDavid scores from Hyman. 14 minutes, Hyman scores from Hopkins, Nugent Hopkins, and Ekholm, and then Mata scores from Raymond and Larkin at 16:03 to tie it up. And in overtime, 1:20, Darnell Nurse scores unassisted. 2-minute for Edmonton, 3-2. Note the sadness in my voice. Joking, whatever. Alright, Boston and Vegas. Vegas needed this one. So in the first period, there's no scoring. Second period, no scoring. Third period, remember my Vegas reverse retro 1.0, by the way. At 7:01, Jack Eichel scores from Jonathan Marchessault and Alec Martinez on the power play. At 12:18, Matt Grzelcyk scores from Trent Frederick. And then in overtime, Pietrangelo scores from Stone and Eichel at 46 seconds. Vegas takes that one 2-1 in overtime. Alright, moving on to the Flames and the Coyotes. Flames also on a nice run here. First period, 20 seconds in, Michael Backlund scores from Blake Coleman. Sharangovich will score from Coleman and Uyghur shorthanded at 6:37. Anderson will score from Kadri and Uyghur at 7:56 to put them out 3-0. Lost in Crystal's answer from Nick Bukestad and Matthias Michelli at 13:44. And then Blake Coleman would score at 13:58 from Chris Tanev, former Canuck, and Noah Hannafin. Second period, Clayton Keller would score at 1:44 from Logan Cooley and Michael Kesselring. That works. Yeah, third period, 58 seconds in, Sharangovich scores a second from Huberdeau and Lindholm. And then he would score his third, to complete the hat trick at 7:06 from Lindholm and Huberdeau on the power play. Flames take that one 6-2. And then last but not least, the most tense game of the night, I feel at least, because my main team is in it. Vancouver and Pittsburgh. First period, 5:44 in. Besser scores his 26th of the year from Patterson and Miller. That Lotto line reuniting has been a beautiful thing. At 6:31, Besser again scores his 27th from Miller and Patterson on the power play. At 14:20, Marcus Pettersson of the Pittsburgh Penguins scores from Jansen Harkins. And then at 17:31, Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks scores from Hronek and Miller to make it 3-1 Vancouver. Second period at 6:05, Crosby scores from Gensel and Marcus Pettersson. And then in the third period of 1931, Crosby scores again from Carlson and Letang. And then in overtime, at 3:05, Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks scores 22nd of the year from Phil Hronik to win it in overtime, 4-3. So Vancouver is at 28-11-3, good enough for second in the league, first in the Pacific, and second in the West. I'm having a really fun time, like the first good time I've had since like the 2011-2012 season, maybe. I don't know. It's been absolutely great to be a Vancouver Canucks fan right now. So, yeah, it's been great. Anyways, if you're a Canucks fan, absolutely smash that like button. Subscribe if you like this. A lot of my videos are not Canucks centered, but there's going to be like a little bit of Canucks preamble in there. Yeah, subscribe if you feel like that. And I'll see you all for a review of tonight's games tomorrow. Adios.